bottle of rum and all that stuff.
Bringing the
Right.
new year with the right dating mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, here we
Okay.
are. Yay. Hi,
Yes.
Barry.
Hi, Christine. We will start this way. It cracks me up.
Yes, we're so fun. Yeah, people say they look forward to it, so there you go.
Good. I like it. Good for
This is
them.
WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio, TV, and podcast #1 internet singles. And this is Let's Talk About Dating with Barry and Christine. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Christine.
Hi. So, with New Year's coming up, the subject today is bringing in the new year with the right dating mindset. You know, I think thinking about it ahead of time is a really good idea. What do you think, Barry?
One of the reason I was chuckling is because I'm thinking people are going to go, what was your attitude mindset last week or the week before or the last time? So we definitely want to talk about um, the errors in approach that's happened before. So we can maybe course correct before you go forward, just to be that sort of focus. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's definitely. And the other thing also we hope we'll talk about as well is the fact that people start making these resolutions. I have a whole rant about resolutions versus intentions because resolutions are so not the thing we'll talk about, but I'll talk about that later. But
Yeah.
yeah, certainly good topic to talk about before the new year, so we can pre-advise, I'll say pre-warn, but pre-advise those watching if they're coming to this new year single, looking for a relationship and dating. Maybe some things they do want to do and some things they don't want to do.
Very true. And
Yeah.
the other thing that I found this week, still working and talking to clients, that if their holidays were not exactly what they'd hoped for or expected, or they thought it was going to be different and they were disappointed, that can start out just going into the new year with a negative attitude, a sad, disappointed attitude.
Right.
And in order to feel a little more positive, a little more hopeful, a little more looking forward to, gosh, I think I might have control over this. I might be able to make decisions. I might be able to do something differently. If we address the disappointment you've had, maybe the whole year, maybe part of the year, maybe you broke up, maybe you tried dating sites and it didn't work, to acknowledge you did it. You
Hmm.
were in a relationship even if it ended. You tried dating apps even if it didn't work out. Maybe you went to a couple meetups and you didn't meet the right person. And Christmas or Hanukkah wasn't exactly what you planned. But sitting back and, I always want to look at both sides of the coin. The other side of the coin is please acknowledge that you did something.
Right.
That you even did something is more than lots of people.
Yeah. That's the thing
That
is that, you know, there's what's the word I'm looking for? Lessons isn't the right word. There's another one looking for that's more like there's gems. I can put it that way. There's like gems you can pick up from what's happened before, even when it didn't, when it maybe the word crashed and burned, maybe it didn't go the way we wanted. But they're little gems you can take out of each those experiences and then sort of build your new vision from them.
yes.
And yes, the thing is that if up until this point your dating experience has been really negative, or you've had no luck in the dating apps, or you haven't met anybody you wanted to be with, or you met somebody and didn't work out and things went badly, all those things, first of all, they're in the past. So
Hmm.
you can leave them there. But the second thing is that if you don't want to repeat them, it's good to learn from what happened, what you don't want to do going forward.
Yes.
So there's lots of little things we can tease apart because frankly, a lot of times they'll go back and do the same old thing again. Like, they screw up the dating app, they go back to the dating app and do exactly the same thing, same sort of person they swipe on, and then the same thing happens. It's like good chance to regroup and review. This is a good time to look at that as well.
So it was interesting. I gave homework to a client 2 days ago
Hmm.
to write down all the things that she believes has gone wrong in her dating life. Write them all down. Like, really? I go, mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because they're in your head. It's not like I'm telling you to make up something you're not already
Right.
thinking.
Yeah.
And then, because we'll work on it together, but I'm giving her this homework. I said, now the next column is, what'd you learn?
There you go.
What'd you learn?
Yeah.
Why wasn't it the right person? What things did you do that were like, oh, my stuff came up? Or when their stuff came up, what was your reaction? Or
Mm.
wow, did you see hints ahead of time of something that came up? Did you ignore some pink flags that turned red? And then the third column is just let your imagination go, because it's a lot of the brainstorming we do and working together on your own. What now could you do differently if you had that situation again? And my intention, and we'll see, is because for me, because I don't give any exercises I haven't done on my own for this very reason. I finally felt more hopeful. It's like, oh, I really did learn stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I really could do different. I didn't, the Maya Angelou of we did best what we knew then, and now when we know better, we do better. It
Right.
gives us, I said, it's a hall pass. You get a pass for this. I'm writing you a note
Yeah.
because you couldn't have done differently. The goal is to go, oh, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? And what would I do differently? My dad used to say, I loved working with tools and helping him make stuff and build stuff. And he goes, if it doesn't fit in smoothly, stop, because it's not right. They make
Right.
things to fit together smoothly. You don't just force it. Step back, undo it, redo it, because truly, unless it was made improperly, which isn't very often, you're going to figure out how to make it go smoothly. So if the dating is not going smoothly, step back and go, why? Let's
Yeah.
go on a dig about it rather than using it as fodder to beat ourselves up.
Yeah. The thing is that the vision again in mind is like when you're trying to put some woodworking together, when it doesn't fit the first time, use a hammer to push it in.
Yes.
Some people feel they're dating the same way. You don't
Yes.
take a hammer to your dating experiences, so don't force what isn't working. The biggest thing is, and Roy said this before, but say it again, is that I'll say mistakes, the approaches that you did in the past that didn't work, are opportunities to go, okay, that didn't work. I mean, the comparison is going to go with the light bulb. He came up and said there's like 1,010 ways of not doing it the right way around. It's like, no, there's 1,001 ways of doing it differently than the one that does actually work. And so dating's the same way, in the sense that what you're looking at is that what happened up to this point, however far back you want to go, 6 months, a year, whatever that is, you can go again, if it didn't work, just to be clear, because someone did, it's like, that didn't work. Great. That's another way that I now learned that I don't want to do anymore. Not like, oh my God, I can't do that anymore. It's like that sort of thing. So again, shift your approach, shift your focus point. What is it you can do differently? And really, what is it you really want? Because the other part is a lot of people who do the dating thing from the point of view, well, I don't want this and don't want that and don't want this and don't want that. And you're basically moving backwards away from things you don't want. So you're not even looking where you're going. So your first big teaching, look where you're going.
Look in the direction you're going.
Exactly.
I know that. I love the analogy of, your rear view mirror is generally this big and your windshield is this big.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it's so helpful. And I'm going to say it again, give yourself credit that you put yourself out there in whatever way you did,
Yeah.
because there's lots of people that aren't there yet. They just aren't, they're too afraid. They don't know where to start. They feel really inadequate. They feel ugly or stupid. So at least you were out there. You put yourself out there, and putting yourself out there, it doesn't work every time, no matter what you're doing. You take a class. I mean, I'm going to be really transparent and say it took me, people compliment me all the time on my driving, but it took me 3 times to pass my driver's test.
There you go.
I went too fast in a residential area and I didn't come to a complete stop at a stop sign because I was very excited and nervous. So I bawled all the way home to my dad. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. He goes, no, this is just how you learn. So I was very proud that I passed the 3rd time. But I've told people that I wasn't going to give up. I wanted my driver's license. I wanted my independence. So if you really want to perfect your dating, you keep practicing, get tips from us and go, what didn't work and what other options are there? Because if you really want to find love, you're going to have to just go out there and have a couple batters and bruises. It's not literally, but your heart gets a little battered around when it doesn't work.
Right.
Or you got all dressed up and there was nobody there. Now you learn. That's the point, to keep thinking, what could I learn more? What's the next positive step I could make?
Right. Another piece of that I just want to just take them up for a second is that if you do go on dates and that person doesn't show up or they don't treat you right, or all these other things, the first thing is be aware it's not you, that's them. Meaning that if you feel chagrin or upset or wounded from what these other people said or didn't do or didn't show up, whatever that was, that's all their behavior. So the lesson kind of is don't take it personally. Now, caveat to that is if you get the same feedback from several people, maybe a body odor or something like you're noticing, or maybe you're not dressing up the way you thought you were when you're showing up on the dates, that may be feedback you want to incorporate into your life and do some changes based on what you heard. But again, don't get emotionally upset about it. It's feedback that can help you. Because the thing about feedback is, and just to go on this little rant for a second,
Yeah.
there's this thing about people don't want negativity in their lives. But they don't go out in the morning. First thing to do is open up the hood of the car, pull off the negative lead off their car and say, there's no negativity in my life. For a start, the car won't work.
That's a
But that's
great.
that's the thing. But that's the idea, is that the negativity is a choice in the sense that if something is given to you as feedback, it can be constructive or it can be positive or anything else. Because the thing is, when you talk about negative feedback, oftentimes there's constructive criticism in it if you're willing to take it apart and not take all the emotion of it on. Yes, you can feel the person was judging you because that was their stuff. Again, their stuff, not yours. But then what do you do with it? I mean, this is a teaching for all of life, not just for dating. To understand that when someone gives you feedback, you can take the feedback and go, okay, what in here can I use? Because it may be a bag full of all sorts of stuff and only one little thing of it you can use, the rest of it throw away. But the thing is, there's something in, again, the gem inside all that stuff. So when you have a track record, perhaps, or the last several months of dates that didn't work out or bad dates and nobody showed up, there's gold in there, so to speak. Are you wanting to look for it?
That's so true. And I posted a thing that I copied from somebody else about telling the truth and how important it is. And somebody wrote back that, well, I always tell the truth, and I think that's why I'm not getting anybody to date me. So I wrote back and I said, boy, I would never say to lie. And I think telling the truth is really important.
Yeah.
And what I've learned and what I love to teach is there's a whole bunch of ways to say your truth.
Yes.
That could be more palatable to the other person, that could be a little gentle, a little softer, and not so bulldozing through. So that's the other thing, that if you don't get huge emotional, since I am the feeling person, I so understand that. The ease of with I can do that.
Yeah.
To say, okay, let me just look at the whole thing and then take it apart. And there's got to be something in here I could use, something in here that's a kernel of truth. Maybe nothing. Generally, there's something.
Right.
Like, why did this upset me so much? I mean, who is this person that is, I mean, even just to learn that, boy, that was such an important thing for me to go, wow, I don't even know this person. And I don't even, why am I so upset? So that turned out to be a really good kernel of truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how easy it is, in a sense. Obviously, in the moment, it can be hard to get to that place of realization because a lot of times we're in the middle of the upset. You're like, I can't get back to insanity again. It's like, no, preparation is really the gift here. There's no going in. Some people you meet will not get you, will not understand you, and will use their, they'll express their upset trying to use you as the victim of it.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, a big teaching that I've had to learn many, many times in many experiences, not just romantic. Somebody else's upset doesn't necessarily mean it's about me. Once in a while, it might be because something I did or didn't do. But oftentimes they're upset because they've got something they haven't resolved yet, and you happen to be the one standing in front of them. So it's basically a drive-by. So again, don't take it on. It's not needed. And in dating especially, and I'll say this, because I've said this before in other ways too, be willing to know that if the person who you don't like or doesn't like you doesn't get together with you, the good news is they may get in the way for somebody better to show up. So always be focused on the possibility of what's coming. That even if the person you think is like, this is the one I'm going to get, awesome. What if it's not that one? Maybe it's someone even better than that. Be open to the possibility.
Mm-hmm. I think another really good point is if somebody really touches on a nerve, or you touch on a nerve with them, often we're reminded about somebody you don't really like from our past.
Yeah,
So there's
it's
another kernel to go, oh, I really thought I dealt with those feelings with that person. I guess there's still some more residue, like peeling the onion. Okay, there's another layer. And to go, oh, okay, I've worked on this before and crap, I thought I'd done it. Well, now here's more. And I know what to do. I go talk to a therapist or a coach or do some writing or
yeah,
meditate or sleep on it. To after the fact, yes, it is hard when it's the big charge. After the fact to go, oh, wow, I can do something about that. I really
yeah,
can. And I've even, not to their face, but I've written a little thank you that I didn't mail. Thanks for the lesson. Thanks for reminding me about that person. I didn't realize I still had yuck, because that yuck really, a high percentage, will get in the way of you finding love.
right.
It's a
That
lot
get
for them to go through to get to
oh
you if you've still got all this crap going on.
yeah. Again, I mean, we talked all the way through so far about that sort of past experience stuff. This again is a reminder, and to keep nailing the point home, so to speak, is about the value you get from every interaction you have,
Yeah.
and the choice you have of how you relate to yourself during those interactions. Because globally, as I said in other talks, every relationship is really just simply a part of the puzzle, because the relationship with yourself is the biggest one of all. And
Yes.
so, what you can learn about yourself through the dating mistakes, in quotes, is really some of the gold that you're going to get. Because relationships go well, you may not actually learn as much, frankly. So, when you have dates that fail, or romances that peter out, or people you date that just totally don't get you, whatever that is, there's growth opportunities all the way through that.
Hmm.
And if you want to start the new year with a new dating mindset, take that one in as an anchor, because the more you understand that each person you meet can give you an opportunity to grow yourself, the more, first of all, the more excited it's going to be to meet new people. But secondly, your life is going to improve dramatically as you keep doing this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Self-examination is the key to contentment for me.
Hmm.
It really has been. Even when you get to the middle and you're like, oh, yuck. Oh, that's really part of me. And oh, why would I even want to be around somebody that's like that? I mean, it's not the fun part, the middle, which is why you and I have people we go to, we have people that come to us, because once you get to the other side of that, it's, wow, I see it now. I feel the difference. I'm now going to watch having new experiences. So that's one of the things I think that really we could hone in on even more as we say goodbye to a challenging, I thought it was a challenging year. I felt like 2020, we all lost our minds. We had no idea what we were doing, and nobody knew what they were doing. And we were trying to follow the rules, and nobody knew what the rules were. And then
Right.
2021, everybody's like, are we out? Are we in? Are we masked? Are we not? And this year, I felt like we really started to get our feet back underneath us. We were
Hmm.
trying to find out what our new normal was. We still were not having the momentum, though. I feel like that's what 23 is going to be about. And it's made me even more excited to look at, okay, what do I still need to shed from 22? And what things have I felt like I was starting to get my momentum and starting to get my feet underneath me? I want to do more of those in 23. And what could I add? And it's interesting. I asked this question at my Monday night Zoom meetup that I do for singles in Orange County. And I would say of the 18 people there, over 50% said, I'm going to get out more. I'm going to do more things with people. I'm going to join a class. I'm going to join meetup.
Yeah.
Yes, our mindset is to meet somebody. Also, we got too comfortable staying home. So I found that in this group, the ones who out loud first said, yeah, I'm going to join this. I've already been looking into something. The other one's like, oh, I never thought about that. Oh, that's a really good idea.
Hmm.
I think it's going to be a year more of having an opportunity to connect back out in the world, which
Yeah.
even the introverts like it. They just don't like big groups. We've missed a lot of that human connection.
Hmm.
And I think we get out of practice of how to interact with each other and how to even date. It's been really awkward. So I think that having that as a goal of what external things could you start doing
Mhm.
that now gives you even more chance to practice interacting with people, both men and women. What could you do? What class could you take? What place could you volunteer? What activity could you join? Look at Meetup that could help you start feeling hopeful.
Yeah,
Because I think having hope, having no hope is deadly. That's why people commit suicide. They think there's no hope, that they're
true.
always going to feel awful, that nothing's ever going to get better. Depression feels like that. And I am so not making light of any of that.
Hmm.
And if you're not suffering from either of those things currently, if you are, please seek professional
Help.
help.
Yeah,
If you're not, but you're just got, doldrums and feeling like laissez-faire about everything or lackadaisical, pick one thing to go join. One thing. It's amazing how it could lead to other things. But once you
definitely.
get out, you're like, oh, that was fun. I wasn't scared. I met nice people, right?
Yeah, and we've done shows again. If you haven't seen those shows, we've got 90 plus of them now. We've done under our belts. But one of them we talked about the ways of getting out and meeting people in the world. And I think one of the challenges, again, because as you said, in the pandemic, the last 2 years worth, especially 2020 and 2021, everything got put on hold and people did start getting more virtual. They're getting more handy with their phones and their computers to connect with people. And so there was definitely a increase and a massive increase, frankly, with the number of people using the dating apps because it was virtual. You couldn't go out and meet people in bars and you couldn't go to restaurants because it's all closed. And now it's interesting because post-pandemic, I'm also noticing that restaurants and bars that I knew before the pandemic managed to survive through the pandemic, and now they're closing because they just can't get back up to speed. So understanding that the world is still coming out of that paradigm, the first thing I want to make a point of is that it isn't like, okay, there's a hard defined line when it was over, and now we're going to be back to normal like nothing ever changed. We're still adjusting. There are things happening with traffic patterns and restaurants and services and everything else that are still adjusting back to normal again. So give yourself a break if you're not doing it perfectly right now. You're getting back to normal as well. The second piece, though, speaking to what you said, is that we have, I think, partly because of the pandemic, and also because the last few years we've gotten closer to that point as well, lost touch with or forgotten how to relate to each other in person socially. And so that piece of the puzzle to meet somebody outside the dating apps, oh my God, heaven forbid we could do that.
Yeah.
But to meet some,
Organically, as they say.
yeah, just to meet somebody in passing when you're at the grocery store or just wherever you are and have a conversation and let yourself trust the process, like just experiment and explore, get to know them. Not to guarantee you're trying to go, this is the one to go and meet them and get a date with them, because you're not in a dating app now. You're in a grocery store, you're in a bar, you get to know somebody. Be up for the game of getting to know somebody as a new play, a new experiment, a new opportunity to connect, because you don't know who they know, first of all. Because there's the other part as well, and we talked about this before too. The person you're meeting may not be the one you want to date, but it may go, boy, you just reminded me of somebody I want you to meet, that sort of thing. So the dating mindset, I hope for a lot of people, would be to step outside of the dating apps and do more in-person stuff. And like you were saying, with the meetup groups and with the different places you can volunteer or just go play, where it's going to volunteer, like you go for the homeless or working with animals, or like we do with horse riding. There's so many things people can do that get you around other people.
Mhm.
And frankly, if you want to go out dating, you definitely may want to practice your social skills again, because you may have gone a bit rusty over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. And to go that it's an adventure, that it's an exploration on, well, let's see how comfortable I am and what helps you even comfortable. Do I need to bring a wing person with me? I
Right.
tell singles, bring your married friends. They're often happy to have an evening out and they'll come with their big old rock on their hand. So they're not looking for anybody. It's just that you have company. You have somebody to go to the bathroom with, because we ladies like going to the bathroom together. I'm
That's
really sensitive about that. I go lots of places by myself, but it's because I was single for such a long time between my marriages. I just got used to it. I'm very sensitive to especially women who don't like going alone. I'm happy to go with them, my friends. I've even
mhm.
gone with a couple clients, and just to get your feet wet, just to get a taste of it, just to get out and go, oh, this is how I can make it safe. This is
Hmm.
how I can feel okay, not nervous about going. Because that's a big deal. You have to feel comfortable. Go in the daytime, go with a friend, go well lit. Tell the management people that you're there. When I went on vacation by myself, everybody at the hotel knew I was there by myself. And they just would look out for me. They'd make sure where I was going and when I was coming back. It was so nice. They took such a personal interest in me. So do that. Take advantage of that. It doesn't mean you're helpless. It just means I might need help and I'm happy that you're going to keep an eye out for me because I would do it for somebody else.
Yeah,
So go with, hopefully you can muster up some excitement, but hopefully you can keep the nerves to a minimum. Of course you're going to be nervous. But the other thing I used to tell when I had my planning company, nervous and excited feel very similar. Your heart pounds, you get a little foggy brain, you get sweaty palms. So decide that you're mostly excited and not quite so much nervous because it really could be, right? You might hit
absolutely.
something fun, you might have an interesting conversation, somebody might ask you a question like, oh, I never thought about that. Oh, I learned a fun question to ask. If you could have any talent or skill, wave a magic wand, you wouldn't have to learn how to do it, and you can have it for a whole day. What would it be?
Ooh,
And then what? And let them think about it, because boy, it's endless.
abilities,
And
yeah.
then when they tell you, ask them why. I've had so much fun asking people, and their stories are wonderful.
Hmm. I love that. That's a cool thing. And
Isn't that
that's the other thing
wonderful?
also, again, dating mindset is ask questions that are more evocative and what if type focus because we got this tendency to go like, where you're from, what's your sign, what's your favorite color? Boring.
I know.
There's so much you can bring to the dating conversation and the way you date that is much more opening up and exciting. Because the other part also is you want to have questions that open up the conversation, not close it down. And I know when we come back from the break, we'll talk about that more.
Yeah, because I met once an astrology person and they asked me because they were really interested, but generally that is a very boring question.
Yeah, indeed.
So we'll be back with much more interesting things to talk about your dating life in 2023.
After the break, we'll see you.
And we're back talking about how to have a positive mindset for the new year.
Hmm.
And we've talked about how you might have had a good mindset in this year and you might not. And
Hmm.
so we're giving you ways to turn it around, make it even better if it already was, and turn it around if it's been negative.
Yeah.
And how to feel interesting. I think that should be a goal of every single person. How do you feel? How could you feel interesting? Because I think a lot of us don't feel that way. We don't feel like we have the right thing to say or we don't know what to talk about. So, what would it take for you to feel interesting? Because then the next place you to do is how do you get interested in the other person? I like doing it in that order though, because
Hmm.
you'll be more confident asking them questions if you already feel like you're an interesting person and they're darn lucky to talk to you and you'll have very interesting things to contribute to the conversation. I mean, it's really a whole mindset that I have people do in the mirror because if you think you have something to contribute, I find that you aren't going to talk so much. If
Yes.
you're insecure, I do. I talk a blue streak on an airplane because I'm kind of a nervous flyer. I have to warn people when they sit next to me. I think I have interesting conversations, but I do talk a lot.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
have to watch movies so I don't completely deluge the person next to me. But I found that the more confident I feel when I'm not on a plane, the less I feel like I have to keep proving myself. I don't feel less, I feel more secure. I feel more confident. So concentrate on, it's one of the things, the exercise you give clients of write about who you are and why somebody's lucky to have you in a relationship with them or even in their company.
Hmm.
I think that could help you with your mindset for the next year for sure.
Definitely. One little piece on that is that I know for some people it might feel like that they don't have anything interesting to talk about. Well, the thing is, it may be because you've talked about it in other places and different people. So you've said things about yourself more than one time. So you might say, well, it's boring now because I've already said it how many times. When you've got somebody new, they haven't heard it yet.
Mm-mm.
I'm making this very simple for people to get this. So you may want to repeat things you've said before to other people if it's still true for you, because there's a new person listening. And who knows, you might say it differently or they may hear it differently than you had before. So definitely have a self-reflection of interested about yourself and you feel interesting to be talked to. And the other part as well is, yes, asking other questions and people talk is one of the greatest gifts when you go on dates. Isn't about telling them about your life and their whole litany of all the things you've done or not done. It's like, no, it's not about that. Truly, the power is when you can be a good listener and actually ask things of them so they start talking. And the thing is that yes, being nervous can be a challenge to be able to hold it yourself in conversation without having verbal diarrhea, so to speak, and just talking about everything and anything. But at the same time, it's okay if that happens to say, I'm sorry, I'm just very nervous.
Oh,
Because we
yeah.
talked earlier about truth, like being honest is such a key part of dating. I wish more people got that. So to be honest in the place when you go on the date, and that's the other thing. When you go on dates, if something's triggering you, upsetting you when you're on the date, be willing to say what it is. I'm feeling upset because I got here 5 minutes late. Let them know. They might be very grateful to hear that
Yeah.
because they may be thinking inside themselves, this person was late, didn't tell me.
Yeah.
So by owning it, you've just cleared that one out. So being honest on your dates, especially about what's going on for you, can be an incredible gift to the other person. So this conversation you're having with these new people has so many possibilities within it. And one little thing I said about the right dating and mindset going forward into 2023 is, what if you took into every single meeting you have with a sense of wonder?
Mhm.
Because frankly, it should be.
Mm.
Because you never know what the person's going to bring and who the person is. And again, if you meet somebody new, because that's ideally what you're doing your dating, you meet new people, is each person is different from the person before. What new thing are they going to give to you? What new thing are they going to teach you? What new thing are they going to share with you that you may never have heard before?
Mm-mm.
That can be wonderful. So be open to wonder.
Wonder about yourself and wonder about them. And I'll tell you the thing that sucks me in, if somebody asks me a thoughtful question that I probably haven't been asked before.
Mm-mm.
You know, when I talk about equine therapy and they either know stuff about it and share it or they don't know and they really ask, because I know you can, I can, other people can feel insecure about, there's lots of people I've gone out with that I didn't understand their job. And when I was first single, I was a little hesitant about asking him because I thought, well, does that make me look stupid? I
Right.
learned right away people really like sharing their information. They like teaching. They like showing you that they really know stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it helped me get over my concern about that. And then when they would turn around and ask me about my party planning business or interesting clients I'd had, or wow, you go on vacation by yourself? How did you figure out how to do that? I mean, I love when somebody asks me about me.
Yeah.
That makes me feel important. Makes me feel cared about. It makes me feel listened to. So if you can make a point of, oh, I'm supposed to ask them something about their life, about their interests, about their pets, their children, their
Mm-hmm.
philosophy, it makes for a much better conversation. And what I love when you said, tell them the truth, you're going to find out as Jack Nicholson said, can you handle the truth, right? Because
Right.
there are people I go, gosh, I'm really nervous. And they go, well, don't be nervous, or you shouldn't be nervous, or why are you nervous? Or,
Right.
I mean, and that's okay. You learn a lot about the other person when you say your truth in your
Hmm.
honest, kind way. You're not being belligerent or anything. To find out, did they go, really nervous? Wow. Is this something I did? Well, is there something I can help you be more comfortable with? Gosh, thanks for sharing with me. I love hearing where they are in that part of their growth.
Yeah.
So the more honest you are, you will find honest coming out of their mouths too, for sure, right?
Absolutely.
Hey,
And the thing again is going to keep hammering this point home again and again and again is that each day is a new person, a new opportunity. So part of you feels like you can't be honest, you might be afraid of what they're going to think of you. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, if you're not going to see them again, they're gone.
mhm,
So being honest can be a great, and frankly, I would suggest strongly is when you go on dates, especially if you go on a date with somebody you don't think you're going to like,
yeah.
even better reason to be honest because you get to
Yeah.
practice the honesty muscle and flex the muscles of honesty you have yourself, knowing that you're not going to see him again. It's
Mhm.
good practice.
Mhm.
So being honest, I mean, honestly, the best policy, all these different framings, but the reality is that when you go on dates and you are dating and when you're in a relationship, being honest is a key quality that you must have, I hope. Because if
I
you
hope
don't think that, we should have a conversation.
yeah, that's really an important conversation. And
Yeah,
there's that saying of the truth will set you free. And when we aren't telling our truth, it's a burden.
yeah,
It's really a burden that we're carrying around. And to say it in a kind way, a thoughtful way,
yeah,
that you're giving the person the best chance possible to give you what will feel an okay response. And then see what they do. It is challenging to not be invested in their answer, though. It's
it's true.
very challenging. And that's why it's very important, as you said, this is a brand new person. Yeah, you might think they're really cute and you might think you really like them, but if they can't respond in the way that's important to you, they're probably not going to work out. So you need to find that out soon.
Ideally, yeah.
And if you can't be comfortable responding to them, you need to find that out too. That was the thing I said after the first date with my late husband. I was like, I don't know that I've ever felt this comfortable on a first meeting. I'd had comfort before. I didn't know how high the bar could be.
Right. That's the, yeah. I mean, sorry, I just having some reflections on past relationships and some of the honesty that wasn't there. I guess I could say the lesson's been hard won, but also I realize how much easier it is too. You know,
And honesty for you and I think it's been in our DNA our whole lives. And now it just gets to run free and we get to help teach it to other people.
indeed,
It's very challenging, especially when we're more tender and young, to not get our feelings stepped on all the time.
yeah,
So that's another thing to revisit. Wow, yeah, that's really happened in the past. And how can I have it not be so hurtful? Do I need to just keep my feelings more in check? Do I need to say it in not quite as open way? I'm still telling the truth, but it doesn't have to be 2000% truth. Do I need to ask some preparatory questions before I get to that one? I mean, that's a really important thing to learn, some discretion about your well-being. That's certainly what I've learned. Oh my goodness, about how to approach people, still be my very authentic self,
right,
just not everything at once.
true,
The people go, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I go, great. And how does that work? If it works, I'm so happy for you. But I think the reason you're talking to me is it's not working very well.
yeah. There's that's a level of what do you call it, oversharing.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the thing about it also, and hand in hand with honesty is also vulnerability, which is
Mhm.
something you want to use, but also be very, very astute or kind of the words is there's certain words I want to use are just juicy ones. They don't always line up, but being able to speak to somebody and gauge whether or not being vulnerable with them is a good thing, because again, dating is still a it's an uneven feel. I'll put it that way, just to be polite. So the date you go on and meeting people, even meeting people socially, new people socially, being vulnerable is something you can bring. And I would say keep that as your secret weapon. Meaning when you're with somebody, that vulnerability you save up for somebody who really you can feel will receive it and will honor it and will respect it, and you in the same veins that you can be connected with them, because vulnerability is one of the gifts you can give somebody that creates a much deeper connection. So if you meet somebody and you're dating with them and you want to get closer, honesty, yes, is governance we talked about, but vulnerability as well is another gift you can bring, because it is going to be much more authentic and less artificial. And the challenge for dating, if you've been in the dating scene like I have, and we both have, the amount of artificialness. I was going to use another word, but I won't, because we're live streaming. Is prevalent in a lot of ways. So to be honest, yes, and to be vulnerable when you choose to be as well, is going to have you stand out from the crowd. It's going to be a great gift to bring. So know yourself and know who you're meeting, so you can gauge that. Because again, I'm not saying you need to be vulnerable with everybody. It's not always a wise choice. But more often than not, you could probably be vulnerable safely and have a chance for somebody to connect with you and you to connect with them on a deeper level than you ever thought possible. So have that in your dating quiver going forward.
Yes, I think it's important, and that you gauge that you're always telling the truth, and then how much vulnerability is okay right now, and how much vulnerability is the next one and the next one. Because you can't keep it all. I mean, the people that don't ever share, you've got the people with the heart on their sleeve, and then the ones who never open up.
Yeah.
Using some moderation as you're going forward. Because I imagine that there's some people that listen to this that go, oh, yeah, I got my heart so slammed, or wow, I didn't feel like I could trust anybody. Well, there's reasons for that inside of you and your past experiences, whether it was how you grew up or your past romantic relationships, and to really dig into that some, so that you can do it differently, that you're not on such far ends of the spectrum. Figure out somewhere in the middle where you could try dating differently, right?
Absolutely. And the thing is that, again, past versus present versus future. If in the past you were basically someone always vulnerable and you felt like you got trodden on when you did that, I'm not saying close up and shut up shop and go home, not do anything, because that doesn't benefit you in anything you want. But it does give you possibility to choose more accurately with who you're looking for and be more selective who you meet. Because I would think anybody watching this video who knows our talks and what we talk about is you want to be in a relationship that is so fulfilling and whole and rich and deep that being vulnerable is part of that picture. So to find somebody you can be vulnerable with, that trusts you and your safety with, that you trust them, is a foundation requirement before you can have a relationship like that. So go in with what you're looking for, know what you want to start with. And one little quick PS, I know we're going to wrap the show up. But one little quick PS is know what it is you're looking for. Because the challenge is we oftentimes go on a dating app because they're there and we just swipe until we meet somebody we like, without any actual preconceived notion of what we're really looking for in the first place. So before you go on the dating apps, before you go out socially, before you go and meet somebody, get clear what you really do want. What is it you really want to have? Not what you don't want from previous relationship snafus. What is it you really want to have in the future going forward? That's a good place to start.
Yes, because you're worth it and you deserve it.
Yes.
And if you don't feel that way, or you're not sure how to make out that list, Barry and I are here to help you. This is what we spend our days doing, and it's our joy. That's the thing I kept thinking. I love my job. I love my job so much, and you feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you would like to talk to me, you could go to my website, which is www.theperfectcatch.com. And I haven't for a while said that the way I came up with the perfect catch is first you learn how to be one, and then you learn how to attract one. That's how I came up with it. Of my company. It says it on my card. You can sign up for my newsletter. You can schedule a complimentary conversation with me by clicking on What's Holding You Back from Love. You can also send me a personal private email at Christine@theperfectcatch. You can look at all my social media, my videos I did on my own, and much more fun doing videos with Barry now on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and YouTube and Pinterest and Instagram. Thank you, Barry. And tell people how they can reach you.
So similarly to Christine, I do love my job and I love doing what I do. And if you have got some difficulty getting clear about what you really want, that's definitely one of my specialities as well. So likewise, same as Christine, I have my website and all my social media links. So my site is my name, which is barryselby.com. I didn't have to come up with that. That's what I was born with. So it's easy. In case you asked. And on my site, there is a place on the homepage where you can join my email list at the bottom of the screen, or if you really want to jump in and go deep right away, there's a link at the top about Get Started. Also, my website is my book and links to other things that I do and offerings as well. So peruse my site and check out what I've got. And you can follow me on social media as well. And yes, Christine and I have got quite a few talks that are saved up on my YouTube channel. All my social media is my name, Barry Selby, except for one, which I'll get to. So YouTube has about 1,200 talks of my own in different playlists, as well as I'm almost 100 now. I think it's about 98 last time I looked, of shows we've done together. So there's a playlist called Let's Talk About Dating on my YouTube channel, which includes all these talks. But again, my name is on all my social media handles. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, as I mentioned, Clubhouse, TikTok. I've actually taken off my phone for now, so I may not go back to that. We'll see. So don't go looking on TikTok for me for now. And the one that's missing is Instagram, because Instagram is the real Barry Selby, because my account actually got hacked originally, so now I've got this one as replacement. So follow me there, but definitely check out our sites, both Christine's and mine, because we offer lots of great support and services, and we're here to help, and we have fun doing it.
We have so much fun. And I love your speciality. That was very cool. Yeah, yes. I'm really glad I have a company name, because Kevin Costner married a Christine Baumgartner. That was her maiden name. I know. So I'm there. I'm a little bit under her because she is famous as a model and married to a very big star.
Yes.
And my Instagram is Coach Christine. So we will be back next Thursday at 1 o'clock Pacific and 4 o'clock Eastern and all the times in between with another scintillating talk about, now what are you going to do? It's 2023, because we'll be back after the new year.
Yes, it'll be a new year.
Yes, a new you. And please share this with other friends that you might have, or family members that are having challenges in their dating or their relationships. And send us comments if you liked something, if you didn't like something, if you want us to talk about something we haven't covered, a really important subject to you. We want to know. Please tell us.
Yeah, we welcome that. And of course, we have got 90 plus shows you can watch to verify you did in fact not hear it before.
That's true. Or you just want a nuance of something, just like you want something to go deeper, because really we go through a lot of things in our 50 minutes, but there's always more to cover. So if you want a deeper subject, please get back to us. We're very flexible.
And we'd love to do it. Yeah.
It's our favorite thing to talk about.
Yes.
So we will see you next week. Oh, you had something else you were to say?
No, I was going to say the same thing you were. See you next week. Bye.
Oh, we crack each other up.
Indeed we do.